and this is, hello, it's Thursday, April 16th. I'm Dan, and this is your update on what's happened lately in HelmLog. We're going to be going over changes to the overlay on the track, maneuvers, and some of our polar stuff. So here's our basic login screen. If you go to the history page, you'll show up on this page here, and what we've done is we've added a quick little thumbnail of the course that was raced that day, the finish that the top three finishers, and if Corvo wasn't in the top three finishers, it shows you what finish Corvo had. If we were to go into one of these sessions, we'd come in and see a screen like this. We can hide these layers and see the track down here. We'll hide the gauges. The track can be made small, medium, large, and then, whoops, down here we've got a little scrubber, and so if we scrub along, we will see the boat going back and forth, all right? And at the same time, the video is syncing up as we scrub. So as we scrub, the video is going to sync with that. We can jump forward to the next maneuver. Oh, wait, what I wanted to show here was we can come down here into layers and we can say keep the boat centered. And so now the boat will stay centered. So as we jump to maneuvers using this button or back, we'll see those happen. Now then, other things that you might find interesting in here is we can come up here to layers and we can say, hey, show me the current that the boat saw over the course of the race. So we can do this, and now this is the current. Now, you might say that looks wrong. Yeah, we'll be looking into the data and how we're accumulating and how our calibrations are over the course of the season. So this should get better, but this is, as we sailed through this water, this is what the difference between the cog and the heading and the SOG and the boat speed indicated that the current would be. Similar and related is we can show the wind barbs, for that period of time as well. So, here we go. So now, as we sailed through here, you can see how the wind was doing, right? You can hover over there and see what the true wind speed and true wind direction was. So that's kind of cool. So you can kind of see the shift. So here we were sailing into a header right here. And you can zoom quite a ways in on these things and get a closer look at them. The other thing that we can do, come up here, turn that off, we can get boat current and boat wind on here. And so this little thing here is going to give you a highlight as you scroll it along of the current that we saw and where the wind was coming from. So that's pretty cool. The yellow little stick coming out in front of the boat, that is where the point is heading. The red is our cog. So that's what's going on with all of that. Is there anything else I wanted to show on that? I think that's all I wanted to show on that. So now then, the next thing we want to take a look at down here is our improving polar diagram. So this is based on a baseline of all of the races that we've done. Oh, I haven't rebuilt it, but since last night's, but it doesn't really count because last night was so late. Anyway, what we can do here is we can say, let's just do things while we were racing. These lines here are our polars that we're finding, that we're discovering over the course of the race. These dots are sections that we raced during this race. So if you were to click on one, and then come back up here in the track, I'm going to turn off the overlay here just to make this a little bit easier to see. Doop, doop, doop. It highlights those sections of our track where this was the bin. And green means we're going better. So if we now look at one of these red ones, you can see this is where we are going slower than polars. So we've got some of this. This will continue to get better and better and better. Let's see here. I now automatically import the results of each race, so you can go and see who did what where and how they did. We have a list of who was on the crew. I had to reset Steve, so he was redacted, the whole licensing thing. The sales that were used, we already had all that. Our threaded discussions, I think we've talked about that before. Transcripts. Now then, down here, we've got our list of maneuvers. And so we can filter this. Here's all the tacks. Here's all the tacks that happened after the start. Here's all the tacks where we went from starboard to port to starboard. Here's all the tacks we went from starboard to port. Here's all the ones that were graded good. Here's all the ones that were graded bad. And then down here, we've got a link to the YouTube video at that point. So we can see it playing along. We can pan around. We'll close this. But what's also interesting is we can do this. Compare videos. I'm just going to bring up this page. Pause a little bit while it loads. Where it shows us, hit the play all button. It will show us all of those videos. This one is was a rounding, so that's why it showed up as well. But it shows us all these maneuvers sunk up with each other. Here we've got where we are on the track. Here's where we are in the maneuver. This little bar right here tells us how we are doing in recovering our speed. This tells us how things are going there. We can turn off the gauges. We can turn off the track. Just see the maneuvers, turn the gauges and the track back on. We can speed it up. We can reset, go back to the start of the maneuver, play all. There we go. We can see that rolling. And this way we can compare the difference in our choreography across these different maneuvers. Let's see here. What else does it show? Oh, we can change our pre-roll. So we could say, hey, 30 seconds before the maneuver, what did it look like? We have a little bit of filtering, so we can do some more filtering and stuff like that. If we wanted to, there is a link to the YouTube video. So you go here, it's going to take you to the YouTube video at that point. Close that. Some information about the rounding down here. What else do we want to say about this? I think that's plenty on there. So that's basically. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. You can adjust the offset on all of these things. So if like the offsets on the YouTube video to the track timestamps is not quite right, you can adjust that. So far things are looking like they're pretty well matching up, but we can do that anyway. The final thing that we could do is we also have the ability to compare maneuvers across different sessions, different races. So here I've got Spring Race 1, Spring Race 2, Ballard Cup 1, and another spring race from the 16th. And so if we were to go compare selected, and these are all the starts. So these are our 4 starts. Now, one of the things you'll notice on here is that those first 2 races, the camera recording was a little off, so we won't see that playing quite as right as we thought. But, oh, come on, hurry up. There it is. Now when we play this, play all, you'll see that we've got a countdown timer showing us where we are, plus how far we are from the pin or from the line. So you can see our countdown timer and where we are in the line, and you can see where we are across all the other boats. And this one we ended up being over early, so we now can take a look at, we can compare multiple starts to each other. Anyway, so that is the update for this week. Go ahead and play with it, check it out. I hope everybody finds it useful and interesting, and I'll send another video when I have new updates.